Hello students, welcome to CMI's online classes. This is Pravesh sir and today I am present with the fifth video on chapter 19, capital letters and punctuation for the students of standard 8. Students, in our previous videos on the same chapter, we understood the uses of terminal punctuation marks and mid-sentence punctuation marks. And in today's video, we are going to understand the uses of miscellaneous punctuation marks that are apostrophe, number 1 apostrophe, number 2 inverted commas, which we also called quotation marks, both single inverted commas and double inverted commas, how to use both of them, and number 3 how to use and what are the conditions of using hyphen in sentences. So students, listen to my explanation so attentively so that you will be able to understand the processes and the conditions of using all these punctuation marks correctly in the sentences whenever you write them. Students, we will move ahead with the explanation of using apostrophe in sentences. So, when and in what condition we use apostrophe with words in sentences. So, look at the board. Apostrophe. I have written apostrophe here. So, apostrophe is also called raised comma because it looks like comma. But how it is used with words is different from the use of comma, because comma is used at the bottom of the words whenever we use it, but whenever we use apostrophe it is used at the top of the words, so it is also called raised comma. Understood? Now see, the first point to understand, the first discussion to understand the use of apostrophe is to show the position of nouns, both singular and plural. That means an apostrophe is used to show the position of nouns. Position of nouns means what the nouns possess. That means what things belong to whom. What things belong to the noun of which we are showing the position. Okay. So, apostrophe is used to show the position of nouns that are both singular and plural, but how they are used with these singular and plural nouns are different. So let us see some example, like in singular how do we use apostrophe to show the position if the nouns are singular? See, the book of my brother, this is the phrase, the book of my brother. So here the noun that possesses something is my brother or brother. That means here the noun brother possesses something, that is the book. So now this preposition of, here now of, the word of we have to remove whenever we are showing the position of nouns here, and in place of this of is, the concept of is used as apostrophe here in the possessive case of nouns. Okay, let us see the book of my brother. That means the book belongs to my brother. So here the book belongs to my brother. So here now to show the position of my brother, that my brother possesses the book, here I have to put apostrophe after the noun that is possessing something. So here the noun that is possessing something is brother, that means my brother. So I have to put apostrophe after my brother. Okay. So whenever if the noun is singular, to show the possession of that singular noun, we have to use apostrophe s after that singular noun. Like my brother apostrophe as book, my brother's book. So this is the possessive case of my brother, which is a singular noun. Okay, in the same case here we can take another example, like the tail of the kitten. So here the tail belongs to the kitten. So here the noun which is possessing something is the kitten. So now here we have to show the possessive case of the noun kitten. That means I have to use apostrophe after the kitten. That is possessing something. The thing that it possesses is the tail. So I have to put apostrophe after the kitten. Okay, and in singular case, if the noun is singular which is possessing something, we have to put apostrophe s in place of. Okay, because we have to remove of from the possessive case. See here, that means I have to write the kitten's tail. The kitten's tail means the tail of the kitten. Okay, here I have shown the possessive case of the noun kitten. The kitten's tail, because kitten apostrophe s, because here kitten is singular. Okay, but how do we use or how do we show the possessive case of nouns when the nouns are plural? There is some different concept. Okay, if the noun is plural, then we have to use, first we have to write the complete plural noun, and after that we have to use apostrophe. Like here, the cars of my friends. That means the cars belong to my friends. It does not matter whatever the items or whatever the objects are there of the nouns that is possessing something. It does not matter. It matters whether the nouns that is or that are possessing something are singular or plural. The possessed item does not differ anything, but the nouns that are possessing something that really differ. Okay, like here the noun that is possessing something is my friends. Okay, so the possessive case of the noun which I have to show here is my friends. So my friends here is a plural form. Okay, so here to show the possessive case of this plural noun, I have to first write the complete plural noun, and then I have to put comma, and then I have to put apostrophe. Like the cars of my friends, that means my friend's car. But here my friends is the noun of which I am showing the possession. Okay, so here my friends apostrophe, my friends apostrophe. So here after writing the complete plural noun, I have used apostrophe to show the possession. So this is the correct possessive case of this plural noun. Okay, my friends apostrophe cars. Now the second example is the feathers of the birds. So here the feathers are possessed by the birds. That means the birds is the noun here of which I have to show the possession. Okay, that means the birds feathers. See here, the birds apostrophe feathers. So here the birds apostrophe shows the possessive case of the noun birds, which is plural in form here. Okay, but still we have some other important points to understand the possessive case of nouns. Like I told you that if the nouns are singular of which we are showing the possession, we have to put apostrophe s after singular noun. If the nouns are plural, then we have to write the plural noun completely, and then we have to use apostrophe. Okay, singular, if I am showing the possessive case of teacher, if the word teacher is singular, then I have to write teacher apostrophe s. Like if the same noun teacher is plural, and I am showing the possessive case of these plural teachers, then I have to use teachers apostrophe. Okay, in singular teacher apostrophe s, in plural teachers apostrophe. Okay, but another important point to understand while showing possessive case of nouns using apostrophe is that as I told you, with singular noun we use apostrophe s, and with plural nouns we use just apostrophe after the plural noun. But these are not applicable with all the nouns, because if the plural nouns end with n, singular we use, obviously we use apostrophe s, but in case of those plural nouns that end with n, then we have to use here again apostrophe s in plural case also. Understood? Like here, sari of a woman. That means woman is a noun here that possesses sari. That means we have to show the possessive case of woman. That is a woman's sari. Apostrophe s after woman ends with n. Okay. So this is fine because it is in singular case. But let's see another example. Saris of women. Women is plural noun here. But when I am showing its possessive case here, I have used apostrophe s, though it is in plural. Why? Because it ends with n. That means if the plural noun ends with n, then we have to put apostrophe s in both singular and plural case, like the play of the children. Children is plural noun, but here if I show the possessive case of this noun children, it ends with n, so I have to use apostrophe s, though it is plural. Okay, like the children's play. Children apostrophe s play. Okay. Now another important point to understand is, if any singular noun of which we are showing the possessive case, the possession, if that singular noun ends with s, or if those singular nouns end with s, then here in singular case also we have to use only apostrophe after singular noun. Like see here, brother of James. So here James is the noun, it is the name of the person of which we have to show the possession. Okay, so here brother belongs to James. Okay, so here if you read the word James, J-A-M-E-S, James. So here this noun ends with s. So if you want to show the possession of this noun, it ends with s. Though it is a singular noun, we have to put just apostrophe after the name. James apostrophe brother means James brother. This is the correct possessive case by using apostrophe. In the same case, friend of Charles. Here Charles is also the noun of which we have to show the possession. So here Charles also, it ends with s. So here also we have to use apostrophe just after the noun Charles of which we are showing the possession. Okay. So whenever we are using apostrophe to show the possession of nouns, then the basic concept is, with singular noun we use apostrophe s, with plural nouns we use just apostrophe after complete plural noun, plural names. Okay, but if the plural nouns end with n, and in this case plural nouns also need apostrophe s, and if the singular nouns end with s, so here we need only apostrophe. Okay, I hope I have cleared the concept. An apostrophe is also used to make contractions. Contractions means shorter form of two words. Okay, when we make shorter form of two words, even from that words also we remove some letters. That is called contraction. So here I have used positive contractions and negative contractions. See, positive contractions are mostly formed by using nouns or pronouns plus helping verbs. Like Ram plus is. Ram is noun, is helping verb. So Ram plus is can be made a contraction form like Ram apostrophe s. It means Ram is. Ram's, if I write the sentence like Ram's my brother, it can be read as Ram is my brother. Okay, I have used the contraction form of Ram is, that is Rams. Rams my brother. Okay, so like they are. Contraction form of they are will be they apostrophe re. So I have joined these two words, this pronoun and this helping verb. And again from this helping verb I have removed the first letter A. And in place of A I have used apostrophe. So whenever I am making contraction form, I have used the first letter of each helping verbs. Like it is. The contraction form of it is it apostrophe s. It's. I am. Its contraction form is I apostrophe am. I am. So little bit pronunciation also changes whenever we make the contraction form. Here we read they are, but when it is contracted, it is they are. Understood? It is contracted as it's. In the same way, I am is contracted as I am. In the same way, they have, T-H-E-Y-S-A-V-E, they have. Here we have to remove the letters H and A both from the contraction form. So it will be read as T-H-E-Y, they apostrophe V-E, they have. Understood? I have, I apostrophe V-E, I have. Okay, you have, you apostrophe V-E, you have. So sometimes, see, it apostrophe S can be the contraction form of it has also. It is and it has are both contracted as same. In the same way, he is and he has. It depends upon our understanding when we read the sentences, in what sense that contraction is being used in the sentence. Okay. Now the negative contraction. Negative contraction is very much useful whenever we make the tag questions. See here. Here negative contractions are formed by joining helping words plus not. Like was plus not, it becomes wasn't. Okay, so here I remove O from not, and in place of O I will put apostrophe and I will make one single word from these two words. Was plus not, wasn't. Okay, its pronunciation also changed, and in place of O I will put apostrophe and it becomes one word. W-A-S and apostrophe T, wasn't. In the same way, amn't, am not is contracted as amn't. A-M-M-N-O-T, not. It is contracted as A-M and apostrophe T, amn't. Okay. Could not, couldn't. In every case, we have to omit O from not and we have to make single word out of all those helping verbs and not. Okay. Do not becomes don't. Okay. There are some exception because all the helping verbs do not follow the same process. Like shall not becomes shan't. S-H-A-L-L shall and O-T not becomes shan't. S-H-A and apostrophe T. Okay, this is the contraction form of shall not, shan't. In the same way, will not becomes won't. W-I-L-L will. N-O-T not. When we make the contraction form out of these two words, it becomes won't. W-O-N apostrophe T. Otherwise, all other helping verbs follow the same process. Understood? Now we will discuss about the conditions of using inverted commas in sentences. Inverted commas are also called quotation marks. Okay, there are two kinds of inverted commas. One is single inverted commas and another is double inverted commas. Okay, mostly the British English use single inverted commas and American English uses double inverted commas. But there are some conditions in which we have to use both single inverted commas and double inverted commas both in a sentence. So what are all these conditions? Let's discuss about. Okay, first we have to understand how to use these inverted commas. See, while dictation, whenever your teachers are taking your dictation, okay, at that time, if the teachers ask you that now you have to use inverted commas, so you have to be ready, you have to be able to write inverted commas correctly. So your teachers will say single inverted comma. So it starts with in a simple manner we can understand it as 6 and 9. It opens with just like the mark like 6 and ends with 9. Okay, when your teachers say that now open inverted comma, it means your punctuation marks should look like 6. And when your teachers again say that now close inverted comma, that is 9. And if your teachers say again this is double inverted commas, so start your inverted commas. Okay, so in start you will write 66, and when you are closing the double inverted comma you have to write 99. Not real 99, but your punctuation marks should look like 99. Okay, so these are the simple concept of understanding how to use single and double inverted commas in sentences whenever we are asked to use them. Now, the first point to discuss about the use of these inverted commas is to enclose direct speech in sentences. Whenever we write the sentences in direct speech, we have to enclose that direct speech, that means reported speech with inverted comma, single inverted comma. Okay, like I have written, he said, I am your old friend. So here I am your old friend is the reported speech. Now this sentence is in direct speech. So in direct speech I have to keep the reported speech using quotation mark, single quotation mark. Okay. In so many cases we use double inverted commas also. You may not be wrong whenever you are writing double inverted comma also. Okay. I can write this reported speech using double inverted comma also. But though we are learning British English, so we have to use single inverted comma. Okay. So here I am your old friend is the reported speech. So I have used a single inverted comma to enclose this reported speech. Okay. So whenever we are writing sentences in direct speech, then we have to enclose the reported speech with inverted comma, single inverted comma. Okay. Now, sometimes whenever we are writing these sentences in direct speech, if that reported speech has again another quotation, inside the quotation again we have another quotation, that means quotation within the quotation. At first, the first quotation we have to use single inverted comma, then another quotation which we have inside the first quotation we have to use that inside one with double inverted comma, like here, father told me. Now I will explain you the meaning of give me blood, I will give you freedom today. Now see, from here I will explain you the meaning of give me blood, I will give you freedom today. So this is the first reported speech. So it should be in single inverted comma. But if you see it attentively, we have another quotation inside the speech, that is give me blood, I will give you freedom. It is the quotation said by S.C. Bose. So now again this quotation I also have to use quotation mark because it is not changed. It is something which is said by Subhash Chandra Bose, and I have kept this quotation as it is in the sentence without any change. So again I have to use quotation mark here. So we have here quotation within quotation. So first the outward quotation I have to use single, and inward quotation I have to use double quotation. Like here, give me blood, I will give you freedom, I have quoted with double inverted comma. Okay. You may write sentences using other quotation within quotation. Okay, you may go through the books, you may see some of other examples also. Now come to another point, when to use this quotation mark. Okay, to indicate the title of book, films, poems, stories, songs, etc. Whenever you try to indicate the name of the song, book, like here, the Titanic. The Titanic is the name of the movie, so I have quoted it with single inverted comma. The Gitanjali, it is the name of the book, so I have quoted with single inverted comma. Packing, this is the name of the story, so I have quoted it with single inverted comma. But whenever we are using them in sentences, we have to quote them. Okay, like right now I am enjoying watching the movie Titanic. So here Titanic should be quoted with single inverted comma. Okay. In the same way, Rabindranath Tagore had received the Nobel Prize on his famous anthology of poems, the Gitanjali. So here the Gitanjali is the name of the book, so it should be quoted with single inverted comma. Okay. I can also make a sentence with the story name Packing here. Okay. Today our teacher started the new chapter, the Packing. So here the Packing should be quoted with single inverted comma. Okay. Now come to the another point, to draw attention to a particular word in sentences. Sometimes we have to draw attention to particular word. So what does that word mean actually? Okay, like in so many questions we have to say what does the word this means in this sentence. Okay, in the story like this. Like here, it should be sometimes written like who does the word I refer in the above sentence. So here the word I. So we are emphasizing, we are giving attention to the word I here. So here I should be written in capital as well as with inverted comma. Okay, single inverted comma, because we are emphasizing that particular word I. Okay. So here the word I refers to Mr. John. So we are emphasizing word I have told you that I, whenever we have to write in capital letter. Okay. So here we are emphasizing I, so it should be used with single inverted commas. Okay. So I hope you have understood these uses of inverted commas, and now you are able to complete all your works. Students, now we have come to the last point to discuss in our chapter. And this is the use of hyphen in sentences. So let's discuss about the conditions in sentences when to use hyphen. See, I have written on the board, hyphen is used between words. Okay, words or between the letters also a hyphen is used. Now see here, hyphen is used to connect the components of words in compound words. Sometimes compound words are too long. Okay, so to indicate the components of these compound words, how these compound words are connected to make one compound words, how the letters are related to frame one compound word, in that case also we have to use this hyphen. Okay, like brother-in-law. See, brother-in-law gives the concept of one noun, but it is a compound noun, compound word. Okay, so brother hyphen in hyphen law, so it completely a compound word. Okay, so we have to use a hyphen in between brother and law 2 times. Okay, brother hyphen in hyphen law. Okay, now police hyphen in hyphen charge, police in charge. This is also a compound word, and these 3 components, police in charge, these 3 components have together made one compound word. So to relate these 3 words in between, to make one concept of one compound word, compound noun, I have used hyphen to connect each word together. Okay, like lifelike objects. So here lifelike objects refer to one single noun. So here life hyphen like hyphen objects. Understood? See, now we can frame other compound words like father-in-law, daughter-in-law, passers-by. Okay, there are so many compound words which are framed by so many other words connected to each other. Okay, by joining these those different or many words together, we make one compound words. In that case, we use hyphen in between these words. Now see here, hyphen is also used to clear the confusion of pronunciation with some words made with prefixes like. So what are those prefixes? Sometimes we make words by using prefixes. In that case also, if we make one compound word with prefixes, so between the prefixes and the actual noun or actual word, we have to use hyphen. Like here, re-entry. So here entry is the main word and here re is the prefix. So here together re and entry has made one single word, a compound word. Okay. So here re-entry. So here to clear the confusion of the pronunciation. So here we have to put, while writing, we have to put hyphen in between the prefix re and the real word entry. In the same way, vice president. So here president is the real word and vice is the prefix. Okay, so here in between these two words, which together has made one word, we have to put hyphen. In the same way, ex-student. See here, student is the real word, the original, the actual word, and here ex is the prefix. Okay, so here between these two words, prefix and the real noun, which has together made one sentence, between these two words, we have to put, actually the prefixes are not the words, but let us say here, so here in between prefix and the real noun or the word, we have to put hyphen. Okay, so we have some other more words found by using prefix and the real noun or the words together. Okay, now the another last condition of using hyphen is we also use hyphen whenever we write the numbers name in compound numbers name from 21 to 99. Whenever we write these numbers in words, okay, from 21 to 99 except 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 1 to 19 and 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, these are not the compound words whenever we write them in not the compound numbers whenever we write them in words. They form single word. Okay, but whenever we write 21 to 99 except these 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and 90, all those numbers form compound words. Like 21, we have 20 and 1, two words together. So when we have to write these words together, because these two words together give us the one concept, 21 means one concept, one number. Okay, but we have used two words to write this number in word. So we have to write these words using hyphen between two words, like 20 hyphen 1. 21 is the compound word. Okay, in the same way, 31, 30 hyphen 1, 42, 40 hyphen 2, 43, 40 hyphen 3, 99, 90 hyphen 9. Okay, whenever two words together make the name of one number, they are compound numbers. We are writing these number name using two words, so they are written by using hyphen. Okay, so in today's video I explained the uses of apostrophe, inverted commas and hyphen. So with this explanation we have completed this chapter completely. I hope you all have understood whatever I have explained. So whatever, if any queries, any doubts you have in your mind, kindly don't hesitate to keep your queries before me. Okay students, thank you.